My name's Stephen Weston. I'm a social worker for a little team called Assertive Community Management Team. We're based at the Thwaites building over on Watt Street, and yeah. I've worked in H&E for about 5 years now, maybe 6 actually. Before that, I worked in aged care for many years. That's where I started my life out, my professional life. And I got into drug and alcohol. I just had a passion and an interest for it. And when I did eventually get into drug and alcohol, I've definitely found my people and I really loved where I ended up. And DACS has definitely been one of those places that I've really enjoyed being at. The transition was surprisingly easy, especially with social work. When you're working with people, not that much different, regardless of what issues they've got going on. But because of the modalities like DBT, motivational interviewing, CBT, that I knew all of those things before, the transition was really smooth. And I just think when you're working with people and you can bring your best self to the situation, then it makes a big difference. So no, not really too much of an issue with transitioning into the drug and alcohol space. Working with the team, it's really good. We're assertive, which means that we get to go and do lots of home visits. So we work with clients pretty much every day. The team dynamic is great. So it's everybody in drug and alcohol, in DACS in particular, is very friendly and very opening. So working in that team dynamic is really nice, and you get to be out of the office quite a lot of the time, which is also really nice, you know. The whole of the multidisciplinary team is great because you've got on hand the DACS counsellors. If you've got somebody that's a little bit young, you can go to YDACS, which is the youth service, and you can go to the cannabis clinic and the stimulant clinic. So there's everybody surrounding each other, so there's so much support. And on a personal level, it's great to find a supervisor as well. Yeah, we were really lucky enough to go to, our team in particular, we went to Darwin last year. We tend to go to the grand rounds over at the MARDA, which is always really useful. And Jo, who is the Allied Health Clinical Lead, she's always advocating for her allied health staff to get as much education as possible, which we're all very grateful and thankful for. I think there's a lot of education on offer in DACS, so I'm really grateful about that too. We can go to Tamworth. Hayley and I have been up to Moree once before to help support a staff member. Predominantly we're based in Newcastle, but we can get around. I do district-wide consults as part of my role. That's usually on the phone, but always happy to jump in the car. Tomorrow we're going to Sydney because we're trying to get a client into rehab, and we're going above and beyond to get that patient into the best service possible. So we're doing that tomorrow. So it's a little bit of a different thing for us, yeah. We've got a client that comes into the service. So part of the ACM team were ITLOs, which is an abbreviation for Involuntary Treatment Liaison Officers. And that is when somebody's so unwell and we're so concerned that they've got to go into a treatment facility for a short period of time. So this one particular person came through our service. Unfortunately, that person had to be IDATed, which is involuntary treatment. However, fast forward 24 months later, and that person's still sober and living the best life. Recently just bought a new car, recently just got a job, and she actually came back into the service last week and we had a sit-down counselling session with her, and she was so thankful. And at the end she turned around and she said, I owe my life to you and I'm so thankful. Thank you so much for doing this, what you did for me. So I knew at that point, yeah, made the right decision. This is the best kind of job. I would definitely say the culture is great. Everybody's super friendly. The clients are the most colourful clients you'll come across. And there's definitely a good time to be had in drug and alcohol clinical services. It is a great service, you're well supported, and the clients are some of the best clients I've come across.